All right. I think, are we recording? Do you see a light?
Yep, recording.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay. Ebenezer family, I wanted to introduce you to a very special person, Jim Lindenmeyer. He is the director of the Cherokee County, I wrote this down, Cherokee County Homeless Veteran Program. And I've been a part of groups with Jim and heard so many amazing stories about the difference that he makes in the lives of the most precious among us, our veterans, and thought that his ministry would be a great one for us to support this year, and figured with the pandemic, this would be the best way to let you meet him and let him explain to you exactly what he does. So, Jim, thanks so much for putting up with my little technology issues here, and we're excited to hear more about what you do with the Veterans Program. But first, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Candy, I grew up in upstate New York on a dairy farm. My father was a county ag agent, so I had 6 brothers and a sister.
Oh, wow.
And then since the 70s, there wasn't a lot going on. I put in for scholarships going to college and was looking to go to Indiana or Notre Dame for chemistry. And then the academy came through and I ended up getting a congressional appointment to West Point, where I graduated in 1980. And I traveled for a number of years in the military and then ended up going into the corporate world for about 25, 26 years, working for EDS, CSC, so large accounts, account rep, Fortune 2000. And then ended up getting out of retiring from the corporate world. My father passed away about 7 years ago. And then I started looking at what's going on in the community and trying to figure where I could put my service at the best, and found out that homeless veterans was the target that was kind of, at that time, was a big push on. And being former Army officer, there was one of those, we always promised to take care of the guys that served for us, and we started a homeless veteran program. So we are right now an offshoot of the American Legion, which is a 501c19 veteran nonprofit. It's no different than a 501c3, except they tag this as a military, as a veteran. We do have to claim revenue if we were doing things like bingo, but we don't do that in our post. The Cherokee County Homeless Veteran Program, it was started off focusing around trying to help those veterans that were homeless or were close to being homeless. There's always that saying that a lot of people are 2 weeks away from two paychecks or 2 weeks away from being homeless, and we really have kind of proved that. So we started the program 2014 November 11th, which is Veterans Day, and we've gone forward from there. Our program has no paid staff. We're 100% volunteers. Most of them are veterans, and our programs have grown over the years. What we started to do, we've added on. So we have a food pantry in Post 45, and a building we've got down off Bells Ferry that we're working on for shelter, hopefully. We have a vehicle donation program that we've come up with, because out here in Cherokee County, we really don't have transportation, and to get a job, people need transportation. If you're a disabled veteran, you can't afford a car payment. So we have given away 27 vehicles in 33 months. So these are,
Wow.
often you hear from Cars for Kids, where someone comes and takes cars away, sell it at auction, money goes into a lost cause. These are actually vehicles. They may have anywhere between 40 and 300,000 miles on it that someone has donated to our program. We retitle it and we give it to them for $1. We also have food banks, clothing, and toiletries provide. We do backpacks for veterans when they first come in, because homeless veterans are really mobile. We process around 100 homeless vets a year. We just finished our outreach where we identified 10 that we're working with. I'm also a service officer with American Legion, which allows us to work on their claims for VA. And we've had a number of veterans that we've been able to get off the street by just reactivating their VA claims that the VA closed out a long time ago. One woman in particular down in Covington that we worked with, we were able to get her a check for $127,000 back pay.
Wow.
To get her off the street. And she was $40,000 in debt with 2 kids, trying to figure out where she was going to get her, how she was going to live going forward. So it is a problem that we have with veterans. It can take up to 8 years for the veteran, the VA, to decide. And if you have missed 2 appointments with the VA, they cancel your claim. So it's a big important issue. We do that. So We do house veterans in Cherokee County. We provide a program through our program with Motel 6, where we put veterans in. It costs us about $400 a week to house and feed a veteran, and then maybe a family as well in the hotel. It's the only place in Cherokee County you can actually house them right now. We have no shelters. Our program works with all the veteran groups in the county. So we are, even though I'm part of 45, we work with the 316 out of American Legion Post 316 out of Woodstock, the VFW in Canton, the Marine Corps League out of Woodstock, and 4 independent groups, veteran groups. Because Cherokee County has 15,000 veterans in the county, we are the 7th largest veteran community in the state.
Wow.
So our programs stretch the imagination from January through the end of the year. We have programs ongoing. The program we're doing right now is a rent assistance program focused at trying to keep those veterans that have lost their jobs and can't pay rent in their house so they don't get evicted. So we are working with there's 3 federal housing programs, of which Cherokee County does not qualify for any of them except for SSVF. And that is a program called Supportive Services with Veterans with Families. And our focus is making sure that the families with the kids under 17 are housed during this pandemic. And we have some grant money that they've access to, that we can pay for past rent as well as utilities. And then we work with other organizations like your church on providing other services. We also have a program with 2 Men in a Truck, where we get furniture veterans that we put in a more permanent housing. We go out and put an idea out to the community for types of furniture, things we need, washers, dryers, and the community is very good. And then once we identify that, we get 2 Men in a Truck to pick it up, and they do a free pickup and delivery to the family. We just had a mother with 3 kids, single mother. We gave her a brand new, not a brand new car, but we gave her a car because she couldn't afford hers. It was a repo. As well as we furnished a 3-bedroom apartment for her, all within 2 weeks of her coming over to us. So
Wow.
we do the best we can. And again, we're happy to be out there doing this, and it's part of what our DNA is. And one thing too, in our program, we don't do charity. So unlike other charitable, we are a charitable organization, nonprofit. Everything we do for the veterans is because they've earned it, whether it was 2 years or 20 years in service.
Okay.
We've had almost every branch and ranks from private down up to lieutenant colonel. So no one is exempt from being homeless.
That's incredible. How do you find the vets? I mean, I know word of mouth probably has a lot to do with it, but do you go out seeking them?
We go out, we just outreach with the point in time count that was canceled. We identified 10 vets in the county that were out there. We get calls. I just got a call from Cobb County about a vet we're working right now, who's 69 years old. We're trying to get him into Milledgeville, the veteran home. Other individuals come up, somehow they call us. We've had calls from a guy came down from Vermont that we helped. He came into that somehow got a hold of Cherokee County and got a hold of us.
Huh.
It seems to be, people out there have our number, they call us, and we go through a vetting process and a 96-hour intake to verify they are who they say they are. Because if they are drug and alcohol related, we will push them to a separate recovery program. We don't do recovery. They have to be clean and sober in our program, as well as honorably discharged.
Right. Okay. And what percentage you mentioned some moms with kids? Is it just kind of across the board that you find older men or moms?
It is, well, the national stats kind of read like this: 45% of all homeless veterans have got a mental health defect. 9% of those are females, some with children. We have processed in the last 12 homeless veterans, 4 have been females. So 3 of those did not have kids. The one we recently got did have kids, children. We never know what they are until we find out whether here what we can do for them and how we can move them. But
Right.
it's something that you never know until the phone rings what it is you've got, who you've got, and what they're eligible for.
Wow.
Each veteran group out there, and our group is 60% is Vietnam era, 40% post 9/11. So most of our homeless veterans are in the aging category.
Okay. And you mentioned that you're all volunteers. Beside you, how many do you have that work with you on this?
Our staff flexes depending on what we've got. So we have, there's 4 kind of core of us. Mike Satterley's my deputy. Betty Lewis runs the auxiliary and the women's side of the house. And then we got Pat Kenny, who is retired from the county, is our grant writer / CFO. And everybody else, when we need projects out there, we put the word out and people come in, whether it's the veteran home repair or the adoptive vet program or other programs are doing code drive. We just gave away 1,200 codes in a week in early January. We had about 10 people helping us on that one. It depends on what we think the demand's going to be and what we need, and people respond, which is very good.
That's great. Well, you have an amazing network here in Cherokee County. I think you just have to say the word and folks will respond. Cherokee's good for that, I know.
Yeah, very, very, very giving community, which really helps us a lot.
Oh, absolutely. What are a story or two do you think maybe that you could share of some of the more positive, I'm trying to think of the word, the difference you've made in the lives, some of the more dramatic, I guess, changes you've made help with veterans with in the past?
Sure, I'll give you a quick example of a male and a female we had. The VA referred us a female veteran about 9 months ago. COVID was starting to go off, and very little information other than the fact that she was going to be available for housing and have a housing voucher within 2 weeks. Well, reality turned out that when we got her, ran her through our intake, she was on a VA disability. Her disability had been halted because she was put in jail for 3 times because she was homeless.
Oh.
We had to go out, and they could not find her through the state court to vacate her issues with her being arrested. So we had to go to the state court, and get that taken care of before we could then get with the VA to get her VA disability restarted. She hadn't received her COVID check, so we got that taken care of. She had lost her ID, so we had to go work with the county sheriffs to get that done. It took us, we housed her for about 16 weeks because we did not want to let her go. She didn't have any type of travel. She her previous husband had died a long time ago. Because of COVID, she could not qualify or file for it because she's under 60. So we petitioned through Congressman Loudermilk's office that she was disabled, and he was able to work with the Social Security and waive the requirement for her retesting because she was labeled as disabled about 10 years before, and we were able to get her reinstated with her husband's back Social Security. So she got enough money to get off the street. We didn't have to worry about getting her VA housing. Never came through in the 16 weeks we had her, even though they said it would be there in 2 weeks.
Wow.
So the social workers that the VA had never bothered to ask the questions that we do. She's now living in an apartment down in Marion. She's very happy. We helped her get all her claims taken care of, and she's now up and running and on her own. As far as a male goes, I ran into a 58-year-old gentleman in Canton, couch surfing. We were called one day to go out, and he called me and asked for some help. He had a little bit of a substance abuse problem, recreational, but he was honorably discharged. His wife had divorced him, and the kids had abandoned him when he lost his job. Mm-hmm. He was kind of depressed, so we sent him down to VA to get some drug and alcohol assistance. After 3 weeks of VA not doing anything, we pulled him back in, got him into a CDL truck driver program. He got clean and sober. He got back. We put him in a job. We were paying his rent. We also connected with Uber to go ahead and provide him with a Uber back and forth to work because he didn't have any other way of getting there. After about 8 weeks of working, he started raising money. We found another vet that looked for a roommate. We put him in there, continued going forward. He is now off the street. He is a great example. He's back with his children. Both, one graduated from college, the other one lives down in Florida. And we gave him a car, and the difference made it from going from a $7 an hour job to a $20 job to get him back off the street.
Wow.
So, and he's still here to live in Cherokee County, and he's out there, and he's our kind of a he'll talk to anybody about what it went through. But when you're 58 years old and you're trying to figure out how to live your life going forward, he was actually very happy that someone was there to help him.
Oh, absolutely. Well, these folks need an advocate, and especially tenacious advocates. It sounds like, gosh, the amount of hours that you spend on one veteran is overwhelming to think about. So, and
well, it's a labor of love, because again, these guys don't know who to talk to, where to go, what's available to them, and we've come to compile that information over 7 years. So we're able to help a lot of people.
So you help them go through that crazy mess, but you also are there to show them love and care and support. Well, that's amazing.
And they have to want to be changed. We can't make them change.
Sure.
They have to have the desire. If they have the desire, we're going to be there to help them.
Right. Oh, that's great. Well, Jim, it sure does do our hearts good to know there are folks out there like you making a difference. And we're excited about supporting you. I know I received a list of items that you suggested, which we'll share. But I also wanted to encourage anyone that listens to this. We have a lot of veterans at Ebenezer, and I'd love to, I'll share the phone number, your phone number, email address,
Sure.
and maybe some folks could get connected, and maybe it's in their heart and they just didn't know something like this was available. So
No, and we try to, our Facebook page is out there. So a lot of stuff we have for veterans, even that may not be associated with a homelessness program like we're doing with the COVID-19 shots for the VA. The information's out there. We're working with the county. They picked up our fly fishing program. So if you're a veteran, disabled veteran, because we are trying to push into the mental health, because the women that we have up here that have got military sexual trauma, which was rape in the military, every one of those women have been females. The 15 we have been homeless and suicidal. So, homelessness does, veteran suicide is up 25% over last year. And we are trying to make sure we solve that problem as well.
Wow, goodness, there's no shortage of problems to tackle, that's for sure. Well, thank you, Jim, for your time, and we look forward to seeing how we can serve you. And if you have any other thoughts, anything you want to close with that you want to share?
If you run into a homeless vet, ask them. The problem with veterans are they're stubborn. They don't feel that they're too proud to ask for help. But if you find one that needs help, give us a call. Even if you think he's a vet and he's not, we will do the vetting and make sure if he is not a vet, we get him over to civilian counterparts that can help him. But if he is a vet, we need to make sure we can do everything for him to get him off the street and back into society.
Okay, that's great advice. So we sure do appreciate it. And I'm going to try to turn this video off right now, and we'll share it with everyone, and we'll look forward to working with you in the month of March.
Okay, thanks, Candy.
Thank you, Jim.
You bet.